Hello and welcome. This is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and I want to welcome you to today's video. Yes, it's going to be a video, but the introduction right now is just some pictures. I am an author, speaker, seminar leader, conversationalist, and today I have a special, absolutely special treat for you. So, as you may have seen, I have been reading stories from Manifestations, True Stories of Bringing the Imagined into Reality. Now, why have I been doing this? Well, many times we've seen people online and on YouTube and talking about how they manifested this and manifested that. But I wanted to share with you stories of people who have truly looked at their lives and they believe and they have seen how they have brought things in their lives through manifestation. Because when you look at your life, look at what's going on around you, and it deals with how you think, how you feel, and what you think about, you bring about into your life. Now, some things you go, well, I didn't bring such and such into my life, but I would say go back and see what decisions you have made, pivoting decisions in your life, the way your emotions are played in your life. Are you responding or reacting in your life about things that are happening? Well, today I want to tell you I have a fantastic special guest. Her name is Foxye Jackson, and she is a two-time best-selling author. She's been a registered nurse for 22 years, and she does this thing called forensic nursing. She has a lot of, what I want to say, beautiful, intuitive training. She's a transition coach, a community activist. I mean, she has just knocked it out of the park. She has a nonprofit organization called Foxye's I Speak, and she helps individuals heal from the traumas of sexual assault, domestic violence, and mental abuse. And she does this through a monthly support group called the Butterfly Warriors Retreat and the Chrysalis Day Camp. Well, I did this recording a couple of months ago, so you're just getting it now because somehow I misplaced the recording and I finally found it. So that you're going to get a really great treat. Now, in the notes, we're going to give you the link on how you can purchase her books and how to reach her with her email. So we'll do all of that good information for you down there in the notes. Now, she has motivated herself and others to become more aware of the laws that govern about voting and running for elected offices. But today we are talking about her contribution to the Manifestations book, and the name of her contribution is The Power Within. So let's go ahead and get started with my interview with Miss Foxye Jackson. All right, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is my privilege and my honor to introduce you to my guest today. I've already told you about how fantastic she is and the fact that she is spending a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate you. So, Foxye Jackson, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am fantastic. You know, one of the things that I absolutely love about you is a couple things. One is that you got yourself out there to and started writing.
and you took opportunities to do a couple like short writing things, and now you're about to launch your own book, which is, I think, is really great. Instead of being in that that location where people keep saying, I want to write a book, I want to write a book, and then they never do it. And
Right.
I want to honor you for that.
Thank you.
Um, so I talked about before we on air, I basically read your bio, but I really want to know about how you became a registered nurse.
Hmm. So when I was in high school, I guess it's a little self-fulfilling prophecy. The women in my life, they were mostly single moms.
Okay.
And so I said I wanted to do something that I would never have to worry about if there was going to be a job available. And the only thing that matched that criteria and something that felt good to me was nursing. And I went to a junior college, got my associate's degree in nursing, passed the state boards, and I've been a nurse now for 22 years. And then I've just started my bachelor's in nursing this month. Well, last month. Oh my gosh, it's already
Ah,
month.
awesome.
So this will be my second bachelor's, but it's going to be nice.
Okay. So what do you love the most about nursing?
The flexibility of it, regardless of what my philosophy is, regardless of the things that I love to do, there's always a place for it in nursing.
Okay.
I did a lot of bedside care. I did oncology. I did hospice, home health. And I was at a point where I didn't want to do any of that because it didn't match with the beliefs that I held right now. And so then I found forensic nursing and became a sexual assault nurse examiner. And I'm able to do the things that I love, really kind of be who I am authentically and still be a nurse.
Okay. So was there anything in your childhood that made that interest in nursing, or did it come along later?
I think being around my elders all the time. I grew up around my elders. I was usually the lone child that was
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I was around my great grandmothers, my grandmothers, would go around the elders at the center. So we had they just called it the center, and it's where all the elder women went and they gathered and talked and played games and sewed. And so I was always around nurturers.
Okay.
And my great grandmother was actually the local midwife. It was a rural area, but she was the one who went around and delivered the babies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where it came from, just being around them because there weren't any nurses in the family at that time.
Okay. All right. Well, that is just, I think that's fascinating that you got that nurturing, what I want to say, vibe from your elders, right?
Yeah,
Because being around them helped you become the person that you are today, really,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Mm,
I've spent most of my career taking care of elders.
okay. All right. So is that something that for you is your preference?
Yes.
Okay.
I used to say that the young ones, they're just learning and you're
Mm-hmm.
really dealing with the parents. The middle-aged ones, they think they know everything. And the elders, the elders actually know a lot and they will tell you whatever is on their mind. They're so straightforward and I just love it. Like they will sit and teach you all day long
Uh-huh.
and I just sit there and soak it all up.
Which is a great thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're part of the Manifestations book, True Stories of Bringing the Imagined into Your Reality. How did you come to decide to be part of the book?
I had been in Inspirations with Kira,
Okay,
and
so
then
that's another
that's
book
another book.
that
Yes, ma'am.
she had, let's see, 101, what is it, 101
Uh,
inspiring
101
one
Inspiring
uplifting stories
Stories.
for daily happiness.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
And when she posted this one for manifestations, my immediate reaction was, no, I don't want to do that, because I'm not manifesting anything. And then anytime I have those types of thoughts, I have to go back and like dissect it and find out where that thought came from, where I
Yes.
came up with that belief.
Hmm.
And so it was a real struggle to write those chapters. And I remember I usually take a day off. I go to a hotel. My husband takes care of the children, so I can just clear my mind without interruptions.
Okay.
And when I got to the hotel, I called my husband. I was like, "This is the same area where we first met. Like, this is the very first place we went together, and it was a brand new hotel." And so he told me, he said, and there were some other things that came up where I was going back to places that I had been long ago and had started things long ago. And he said, sometimes you have to go back to the beginning. And
Absolutely.
when he said I needed to go back to the beginning, then I started to realize that the place that I was in emotionally and mentally was not where I was when I began this journey.
Okay.
And so I began to look at the things that had changed. And I said, I have to manifest. I have to write in this book because I am manifesting. I'm manifesting the things that I think and I believe. And until I change those things, I'm never going to manifest anything different.
So by having this experience of going to the hotel and understanding you had been there before, so you had chosen it because you'd been there before, or you just decided to go to that hotel?
Actually, I went to hotels.com
Okay.
and picked a hotel that was kind of close to my house and close to me having to go get the children or come home if I needed to.
Uh-huh.
And it's a brand new hotel that's been built since we got together like 8 years ago.
Okay.
And so I didn't even know that this hotel, I didn't even know the area enough to look at it on the map and say, oh, this is where we met. It wasn't until I got over there and I started recognizing buildings and streets and things like that.
Okay, so it was the area that you met, not the hotel, because that was
Right.
So
right.
it was the area, and it gave you it made it familiar.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So then you started. So what it sounds like to me is that you just really began to realize that you were manifesting things in your life.
Yeah.
And I want to ask the question, but I think from your bio, I can get the answer to that a little bit, is that whole idea that you understood that there were things that you had to go back to experience to realize that you were doing this manifesting even though you weren't working at it actively. Did I get
Correct.
that right?
Yes, because
Okay.
you will manifest whether you choose, whether you're conscious of it or not.
Right.
You're still manifesting.
Every day, every minute, every
Yes.
thought that you do, you are manifesting every word that comes out of your mouth.
Yes.
And they speak of that in the scriptures about, as a man thinketh, so is he.
Yes.
And the words that your words have power.
Right.
So we're on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Now, I see that you're a Reiki master, and so I would like you to explain to the audience what a Reiki master is and how did you get into that? That's like on the other end of nursing. I mean, it's like
yes.
totally on the other
Well,
side.
actually, they go together because Reiki has been used in hospitals. It has been used in surgery units. There have been research studies where people who went in for cardiac surgery, if they had Reiki before, sometimes they'll have Reiki during the surgery. they end up with less pain and faster healing rates afterwards.
Ah,
Reiki is essentially just using the natural energy that's in the universe, and it's bringing it all together. It's a healing energy, and you're using it. It's like you're becoming a conduit. So you allow this energy to pass through you into this other person. You never have to touch the person. It's nothing that I do myself. I'm just there to help direct the energy to the places where they're hurting, whether that's mentally or physically or spiritually. When my mentor I was talking to her one day, and we were on video chat, and she kept saying, she kept hitting the palms of her hands, and she said, "Don't you feel that?" And I said, "No, ma'am, I don't."
so what Foxy is talking about is when you are doing Reiki is movement of an energy field. Your body is an electrical conduit. It is a battery because it has all this electricity going through it. And around you is this whole electrical field. And if things aren't right, then what will happen is that part of that electrical field is off. So let's say you have a battery that is about to go out and it's not working right. The item that you're using that battery in might come on, it might go off, and that's the movement of energy. So with Reiki, and my hands are getting hot. So what part of the things with Reiki is when you are doing Reiki, your hands will tend to get warm. But as she said, we are a conduit of this energy, and all we're doing is directing that energy to a certain part of the body that we're drawn to. Sometimes it's the entire body, but we're dealing with it. So if you're familiar with Chinese Qi, if you're familiar with aura, if you're familiar with any kind of energy thing, it's all the same. We're all working with the same energy, just in a different manner.
Right.
So I didn't realize that there were hospitals that were open enough that would have Reiki available in the operating room as well as before going in. So
Yes.
that's really good to know.
Yes. Yes. They're mostly up north, but yes.
Yes, yeah, we're in the Bible Belt down here. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's growing. It's getting there.
Yeah.
The As a transitions coach, intuitive reader, tell me about that part of you.
As a transitions coach, usually people come to me and ask me for help when they're transitioning through different parts of their life. Sometimes it's from physical death into the other side,
Mm-hmm.
like they're actually passing on to the other side. Sometimes it is you should call it situational death, where they're dying to a certain part of themselves and they don't really know how to go into the next step.
Okay.
They may be deciding to go from working 9 to 5 W-2 to going into entrepreneurship. It's whatever kind of transitions they're going through.
Okay.
Many times it has to deal with them just learning who they are and being okay with themselves, and making themselves better. And when I say better, it's kind of a cliche, you want to be better, but it's being accepting of yourself, forgiving yourself for certain experiences, learning how to manifest things for yourself, learning how to control your thoughts, how to create your own beliefs, how to dissect the beliefs that you have and see if they really resonate with you, or if you're just doing it because you were taught to believe that way.
Okay. All right. Well, good. That was like, I was not quite sure because like transitions going from this life to the next. There's a lot of people who do that exclusively. I
Yeah.
went to I belong to a huge coaching program, and there's a gentleman there. That's all he does. He does transitions. That's it. He goes to hospices and he'll do those kinds of things strictly. And he just says he loves it because he helps people be comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do that. Your intuitive reading, what does that mean to me, or to my audience, I should say?
Um, Everyone has an intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Many people don't listen to it.
That's
And
true.
so oftentimes people will come and ask me a question, and I use my intuition to help them with those questions.
Okay.
Um, Sometimes I may use cards or make them pull a card, just so that they have something tangible that they have done themselves. So it's not like, oh, she has a sneak piece of paper there that she's reading with me. Somebody told her this. And
Yes.
so I have this stack of healing cards, and I'll have them pull a healing card, and it tells them what area they need to heal. And
Right.
that may be just believing in yourself, or, simple things like that. And many times I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. I said, I didn't do it. You
You
did it.
did it.
You
Yes. That people, and that's true. People will, um, they don't realize that their own energy and their own higher self actually knows what is in those cards and has them pull
right.
that particular thing. And yes, I caught that little thing you talked about with the little piece of paper. The I had bought a book once that talked about how some of these readers
Mm-hmm.
actually use your own words against you
Yeah.
to give you these readings about what they, about what, and all they're doing is telling you back what you said, and they're not really what I want to say. I like to probe and get a lot of information, and in the end, the person usually is led to the answer that they need, which is sounds like what you do.
Well,
They
sometimes there are people who show up that aren't like on this side of life.
Okay.
I've had some, like, there was this one guy who would always come into my office for different things. And his son, there was this guy that I kept seeing. I kept seeing like a picture. It was of him and this other guy.
Okay.
And so I was describing to him what the guy had on, to ask him, who is this person that's here wanting to say something to you? And he just fell into the chair that was in my office and began crying because it was his son.
Mm,
And I had never known that he had a son who passed away.
mm,
And so I said to him, it's like you just kind of hear things. And I was like,
okay.
does he call you Pops? Because we never called him Pops.
Okay.
We just called him Mr. and his last name.
Right.
And he said, yeah, my son used to call me Pops.
Mm,
And I could just see his son with a hand on his shoulder. And his son was saying, it's okay. I'm okay. It's going to be okay. And he said that's what his son would actually do, was come up to him and say, hey, Pops, it's going to be all right. Or, hey, Pops, how you doing? Do you need some money? Do you need this? And so it allowed him to transition
okay.
from a state of continuous grief to understanding that our loved ones are okay on the other side.
Yes. Yes. And that is something that a lot of people, have a problem with, or they can't understand how some people can be contacted. There's so much, how do I say this? Um, religious, um, the word just won't come, but it's that idea that you can't do that.
Right.
You shouldn't be doing that. But this happens naturally to
It does.
people. It's not a thing where I'm going after this. This is this person. I just see these people. Did you see the movies The Sixth Sense?
Yes.
Yes, I mean it was wonderful. It caught me when he kept saying, "I see dead people,"
I
and
know.
then in the end, it was like, "Oh,
I
he's
didn't even
dead,"
catch
right?
that.
And it's like, and it's young kids, and a lot of times young kids experience them, and the parents or the people around them say, "You don't see that. That's not possible." And I've talked to many people who, as a young child, had a companion or had somebody taking care of them. So I just look at it and I go, we have been given lots of different gifts.
Yes.
And, you know, the gifts aren't all the same for everybody else. And you
Right.
have this wonderful gift that allows you to be able to help people. As you said, he was able to get out of the grief mode and know that his child was fine. And that, but the other piece was the child was around me.
Right.
Right. And that, no, the child hasn't totally left and gone completely out of the way. He's still here taking, you know, I mean, because,
Yeah.
you know, I used to watch the one where she would help people go into the light. It wasn't a medium. I forget what the show was called, but it's like some of them just said, "No, I'm going to stay around and wait till so and so comes and joins me,"
Yeah.
or whatever. Uh, and
Yeah.
that idea, but that's a wonderful gift to have, and it's good to be able to make use of that.
Yes.
All right. Um. Well, let's get to the book.
Okay.
Let's get to the book. And Foxy did two stories in the book. One was called The Power Within, and then the other one was called Angels of My Manifestations. But we're going to do The Power Within because as she starts reading this, you're going to, oh, that sounds like something Beverly said. Or so we're on the absolutely same page. So let's get started.
Okay.
All right.
The Power Within by Foxye Jackson. One will manifest experiences despite believing in the ability to do so. The power of manifestation is given to all souls and accompanies them in their human form. Therefore, because these souls are having a human experience and all souls are connected, each one is gifted with an innate ability to manifest their reality. Truly, the power within is there and only needs to be awakened. Some common difficulties in manifesting experiences involve controlling one's thoughts, filtering one's beliefs, improving one's awareness, and acknowledging one's true intentions. Each of these affects the reality experienced when manifestation occurs. Thoughts have a tendency to be random and uncontrolled. Beliefs held by the thinker influence which thoughts are deemed true or irrelevant.
Let's stop right there.
Mhm.
Stop right there. I want to reread that. Beliefs held by the thinker influence which thoughts are deemed true or irrelevant. So basically, Foxy is saying that you've got a conscious mind and you've got a subconscious mind.
Mhm.
The more you feed to your conscious mind about those beliefs, they pass directly to your subconscious mind, and it doesn't care whether it's true or whether it's false. You know, your conscious mind may say it's true, and your subconscious say, okay, you know, because you could call the sky green and keep calling it green, and your subconscious would do, and somebody will ask you, what color is the sky? You'll say green, and they'll
Yep.
look at you like you know, what? The sky's blue, right? So your beliefs really have control over what you manifest and how your life is. All right,
Correct.
continue.
In fact, beliefs can shape thoughts and intentions, and the individual may be unaware.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awareness means the individual purposefully and consciously evaluates each thought and beliefs and their effects. An intention describes the purpose of manifesting an experience or action. With that, the intention of this writing is for the reader to understand the amazing power that lies within, how to awaken it, and how to use it. Thoughts. Buddha said, all that we are is a result of what we have thought. Many do not spend enough time with themselves to know how they think, what they think about, or even which thoughts belong to them.
Okay, so that's a good question because you mentioned it earlier. You know, where did this thought come from?
Mhm.
Is it mine? Is it somebody else's? Did I hear it? Did I read it? Did so because as you begin to start doing that evaluation on yourself, you have to really understand where the thought came from. It's like I
Right.
hear my mother come out of my mouth many times. Right? And guys, you know what I mean. Her
Yeah.
words keep coming out. You know, I
Right.
had this visual of my mother coming out of my mouth. Anyway, all right. So go ahead. Spending time.
Spending time with oneself, in this case, means studying oneself. Obvious ways to study oneself include journaling, meditating, and reflecting. Each requires some level of solitude. Journaling involves the magic of writing, which combines the essence of being in the moment with allowing energy to flow from the mind to the hand, thereby enabling the thinker to release thoughts, negative or positive, onto paper. The thinker is then able to become aware of how they process events and information by organizing these thoughts. This organization of thoughts further empowers the thinker to connect their thoughts and experiences through journaling.
So
Meditation,
how often should a person journal? What do you think?
it'd be lovely if we could journal every day, but I
Hmm.
know life happens.
Yes.
And so I usually tell people to journal when they have any um, intense emotion, whether that's intense happiness or intense sadness or anger or frustration. Anytime there's an intense emotion, loneliness, grief, so that you can write those things out and kind of get it out of your body, because as long as you hold it in, it begins to fester and it begins to cause discomforts in various areas of your bodies and different organs and things like that.
And I like the fact that you said that those emotions, you know, it's the one of forgiveness is not for you. I mean, it's not for the other person, it's for you, because as long as you hold that animosity or that hate or that feeling, you're killing yourself, you're not killing them, you know, and you're
Absolutely.
not hurting them. And I like the idea of the journaling. You know, you don't have to force yourself to journal every day, but when there's wonderful things happen, or you're in the middle of something and you need to figure it out, or you want to understand it, journaling is wonderful.
Yeah.
um and it's funny because I got like 15 journals around where I started it, and then and, and then I had to tear the pages out and move it to the other one to
Yeah.
keep going. But it is so. Those of you who hear us talk about journaling, just understand that it's really a great thing to do every day. And some people are religious at it, but others of us, including me, journal when there's something that is either intensely happy or some way of trying to figure out an issue. So, absolutely. Okay, meditation.
Meditation creates mental solitude and, with practice, the ability to quiet the mind and allow it to rest. With the absence of training, the mind will continue with such a constant flow of thoughts that one cannot rest, sleep, or heal. A picture of this would be the reins that bridle thoughts are in the hands of the thoughts instead of the thinker. Meditation allows the thinker to assume control of those mental reins and direct the mind on when to think, what to think, and how to change perspectives of thought. Each second in front of a mirror is a moment of reflection. Placing a mirror in front of the mind requires honesty and courage. Courage to see what is there, and honesty to acknowledge what it is. For example, it is easy to hear the mind produce a thought such as, "You are inadequate." With courage, one acknowledges the thought, labels it as untrue, and begins to evaluate its origin. With honesty, the thinker debates the thought with the understanding that it originated from someone else's manifested thoughts and belief that that person was correct. The importance of evaluating one's beliefs is demonstrated in this. Beliefs. Beliefs are ages old and taught from generation to generation. Courage helps filter these beliefs into categories of which to retain and which to replace. Agmendino stated, your only limitations are those you set up in your mind or permit others to set up for you.
Okay, so we got to repeat that because I mean, that is such a powerful statement in that your only limitations are those you set up in your mind. So that goes back to your belief levels. It goes back to what you're feeding yourself as the example of you are an inadequate. So those things, those are, you limit yourself more than anybody else in this world will limit you. you
Yeah.
you stop yourself from doing things. So
Right.
what you have to do is work on those beliefs, and you can also do that through the meditation process, and then the other one, or permit others to set up for you. and
Right.
and we know that a lot of those things are set up in our childhood. We're influenced by teachers, preachers, friends, neighbors, um, people at church, people at school. I mean, we hear things said about ourselves, and then oh, well, Mr. So and so said so, so it must be true. I'm not good at math. I'll never be good at math. And you aren't, because
Right.
you give up. Versus he said, I'm good at math. I'm going to prove him wrong. And that's a whole different attitude, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go on.
Children are taught an initial set of beliefs from their parents in an attempt to keep them safe. Having no other conscious foundation of beliefs, the children believe the parents. The parents teach from their learned knowledge and experiences, and their beliefs may not always serve the children positively as they matriculate into adulthood. A common example, and one that has proven most influential on the children's growth, is I love you. This statement, typically accompanied by actions or more words, creates an imaginary box full of descriptors of love. Descriptors may include hugs, gifts, and encouraging words, or abuse, sexual, physical, mental. Either way, the connection between the proclamation of love and the actions demonstrated creates a belief box that states, if these descriptors are absent, so is love. Hopefully, one can recognize the importance of filtering beliefs, that is, through journaling, meditation, and reflection, to manifest the desired reality, understanding that walking in that reality may feel awkward. Self-discovery such as this raises one's awareness of manifestation power. Awareness. Awareness is simply being present and in the current moment, not thinking of the past or present. With the established routine of journaling, meditating, and reflecting, one gains thought control, aligns beliefs with individual desires, and experiences an improved awareness of the power within. Through awareness, cycles, processes, and lessons are uncovered. Awareness also reveals patterns of particular beliefs and thoughts manifesting into one's current reality. The self-discovery process revealed here takes that awareness and motivates the individual to become intentional about what reality is desired. Intention. Once aware of the roots of one's thoughts and beliefs and how they impact reality, it becomes almost automatic to set an intention of change. Obviously, changes will occur in the above-mentioned processes. Other amazing results are positive changes in reality. For example, one may change jobs, sever a relationship, or modify living arrangements, all because it allows more space for spending time with one's self. Ultimately, the truest of intentions for anyone is to discover the power within. Conclusion. Thoughts, beliefs, awareness, intentions, and manifestation are all powerful. These abilities are innately within the reader, meaning the reader is powerful beyond measure. They need only believe. Every intention sets energy into motion, whether you are conscious of it or not, said Gary Zukov. If this is true, my intention is already set in motion. The reader is now aware of and understands how to use their newly awakened power of manifestation, for this is the power within.
And thank you so much. Yeah, that power within is not used enough. People do not realize just what how strong they are.
Right.
This this whole thing. So let me go off just a little bit off. Well, it's on topic, but it's off. So it's about that sickness that is going around that has the name of a beer.
Which that beer is the name of a body part.
Right? Now, everybody, you all should know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You know, and if you're watching this years later, you can still look it up. You'll know. I can't say it because the powers that be on the platforms, you know, they don't want us talking about it,
Right.
you know, a certain way. So it's like the intention is that we're going to be healthy. The intention is, yeah, they say this thing is horrible, but more people are dying from the flu and getting sick from the everyday flu than they are from this. The only thing in my mind that says that there's something else going on in China is because they walled up these cities. To me, that means there's something else going on, not this beer thing. You know, and to me that it's almost like when we think about, you know, okay, this thing could have been a manufactured item that they were testing on people like they did the HIV virus, which I believe they did that.
Yes.
And then it got out of control and a whole bunch of stuff is happening. But it is set your intention. Everybody's listening to this. You set your intention that you're going to be healthy. You take control of your life, and there's wash your hands. You know, you go ahead and use the wipes if you have to go to the store, and you don't keep your hands cleared, because that's going to protect you from a whole bunch of things. It's not just this, but it's the regular flu. It's colds. It's all that. And then I'm a believer in colloidal silver. I don't know if you do too. And then, you know, vitamin C, vitamin D, keep yourself healthy and you'll be fine. And I'm in that age group that they say, you know, are the most likely to fall victim to that. But my immune system is very high.
Right.
I am not worried about it on doing that. And if every time I think a cold is coming on, it's 3 doses of colloidal silver, and in 48 hours, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
For you folks, I'm not giving any medical advice. I am not a doctor. I am not a medical student. I'm just a person telling you what I do in my circumstances and what we do in my household. But that's setting your intention to be healthy, setting your intention to whatever it is that you desire. When you look around your home or your workplace, and if you're unhappy or miserable, take a look at what you're thinking about, because your circumstances are a reflection of how you think and your belief system. And Foxy has explained it and laid it out for you in a very scientific nurse's way of giving you step by step of the things you want to do. And so therefore, if you want more input from Foxy,
They can reach me on social media, Instagram and Facebook, under Foxy's I Speak. They can email me at peacewithfoxy@gmail.com.
And
Or they,
yeah, and I'm gonna put that down in the description below.
okay,
You'll have all that information. And it's
yes,
now you said here it's for Facebook is I Speak Foxy, and it's Foxye, y'all, not
yes,
IE, it's YE, right?
yes,
And I Speak Foxy on Instagram.
yes.
Okay. So I didn't ask you this. Are you in Dallas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you had an opportunity to have dinner with three people, living or deceased, who would you invite and why?
I would invite my father, my mentor, and my husband.
Okay.
My husband has been my best friend, and it's like we're two peas in a pod, the male and female of each other. And so the questions that I may forget because I'm emotional, he would remember and ask those questions.
Okay.
Uh, my mentor, Elizabeth Harbin, is also, she's like, I don't know, she has been the one to change a lot of beliefs and thoughts that I've held over the years. And she would tell me, you're going to be doing this and you're going to be doing that. And I'm like, this woman is crazy. And she cannot be right. She's getting wrong messages. And it turns out everything she says, somewhere in the back of my head, I believe her. And she just keeps pushing me and keep pushing me. And my father is deceased. And there are so many questions I have for my father because my father was so, it seems like I didn't have enough time with him. Even when he was here, I still didn't get to spend a lot of time with him because of the way the family kept me away from that part of my family. And so I would like to have some of that time back,
Okay.
to just be able to, there's a certain amount of, I don't know, when you're children, you learn different things from your parents and your grandparents and things like that. When you become an adult, there's a whole different set of lessons that your parents and grandparents teach you. And I missed out on those lessons from him being my elder and being my father. I'm really, really, I guess it's an old part of me, but I'm always an advocate for sitting at the feet of my elders. I think that's where you learn the most things, and you miss a lot of negative experiences if you just learn how to listen because they've already done it.
Yeah, but sometimes we don't listen even when we hear them. It's like, that can't be true.
Right.
No, I want to do that. I want to experience that. And then you go,
Yeah.
oh, they were right, you know,
Yes.
kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Good. And I hear you talk about your mentor. So I often tell people I still have a coach. I still have coach. Actually, I got several that I have. So what's the importance? Why would somebody really seek out a coach? And I'm going to say a coach versus a psychologist.
Yes. Yes.
I like the way you said that. It's like, yes, okay. So why would you pick it? Yeah,
Oh,
just yeah. And folks, please understand your psychologist, if you've got medical insurance, may cover that, or at work you get, they got this plan where you can get 10 meetings
yes.
with a psychologist or psychiatrist, whichever.
Yes.
But yes, share that with us.
When you're going to professionals, there is a time limit. Once that 45-minute mark hits, your session is over. And whatever happens in between there, you better make notes because you can't call them unless you're going to pay them. My mentor has always been, now mind you, she is an elder.
Of course.
Of course.
Mhm.
Because my goal in life is to get a head full of white hair. So
Yes.
I'm on my way. But my mentor is very honest. And she will call me on whatever I'm doing. And at the same time, she's so freaking encouraging. And it's very difficult in my life. That has been a rarity. And so she pushes me. She checks on me, asks me how I'm doing. If I'm having a difficult moment, she's already planned out my year for me and told me when I need to come see her, what month I need to make sure I, come see her face to face. So, there's a lot of things you can do over the internet and over the phone, but there are some times that they're like, you need to come see me face to face.
That's that energy field.
Yes. And sometimes just sitting in her presence is like, I feel like I can do anything after that. And since I've been around her, there are times in the middle of the night, I'll send her a message, and lo and behold, she's up.
So that's definitely a difference.
Yes.
And we want you to, audience, I want you to understand that we're talking about us too. When you're working with us, it is, it's like, oh yeah, I do, if I'm doing a session, I want it an hour, but sometimes it goes an hour and a half because we need to go an hour and a half. Or sometimes it goes 45 minutes because that's all the time we need right there. But you're right. You can't text that psychologist. You can't send that message in the middle of the night, because if they answer you, it's like I once sent an email to my attorney, and she charged me for reading the email. Yes. It's like, are you kidding me? Right? So we don't charge. If it's part of the contract with us or part of the program, we take text messages, we'll do check-ins with you. That's the difference between a coach and a psychologist, or one of these people. Because I did one gentleman, I was working with him, and we actually wound up being on the phone for 2 hours. But at the end, and he sent me this message, and he said, you got more out of me in 2 hours than I got in 2 years going to the psychologist. I said, well, there's the deal is a psychologist is getting paid by the insurance company, and they want to keep you coming year after year after year. I want you to keep coming year after year, but I want you to come because I'm really helping you to move forward versus just keep you coming to get that check.
Right.
Yeah,
and many times they have a lot of limitations put on
of
them.
what they can say. Right. I've met some who are now coaches who used to be psychologists. I've met some medical doctors who are now coaches because now they're restricted. They can't give you, they don't want to give you medications anyway, but the restrictions have been lifted. So that's the reason to work with a coach. And a lot of times we see things within you that you don't see within yourself. We come up with ideas, and I get downloads too, about I need to tell you this. I don't know why I need to tell you this, but I need to tell you this. And it's usually right on for something that you need. So get in touch with Foxye and have a conversation with her. Follow her on Instagram and on Facebook, and learn who she is and what she's about. Because my vibe is that she's awesome. And not only because she's Foxy and I'm the silver fox of consciousness, but because she is an awesome woman. So thank you for being with me today, Foxy, and I look forward to seeing and talking to you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening today. Please share the link to this show with your friends and family so that they can learn how to be the best that they can be. Visit my website at commandingyourlife.com and follow me on Facebook. Have any suggestions for the show? Just contact me by emailing Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. Be sure to join me on the next episode. As you have believed, let it be done to you, and it is so.